No. Hello? Can anybody hear me? Collins, can you hear me?
Your voice is low.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, how about now? Can you hear me? Is it better now? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Is it better now? Is my voice better now?
Please go ahead. We can hear you.
All right, thank you very much. All right. So good evening, everyone. I don't know if you can see my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Can't see your screen.
Thank you. Um, okay. So today we're going to be looking at the virtual assistants. So the class today. So for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be looking at we're going to be doing virtual assistants, and we're going to look at everything that one needs to be an ideal virtual assistant. So again, most of what we're going to be doing in this class is going to be practical, hands-on. So please feel free to call my attention at any time should in case you do not understand anything. You can also reach out to me via WhatsApp at any time if you have any questions um, to ask. All right. All right. So let's start the class. I trust you guys have had a wonderful week. We are coming into the weekends. Today's Thursday, and I hope that you will have time to do some of the tasks that we're going to be asking you to do in this class. So as usual, I will be giving out tasks before the end of the class to assess how much you have learned. All right. So big question. What is virtual assistance? And why, in fact, do you want to be a virtual assistant? These are questions we'll be answering by the end of this class. So it's no longer news that a lot of businesses are springing up every day. People are setting up new businesses, and as these businesses are springing up, there's need for human resource. So there's so much work, but there's limited human resource. Now, most of these businesses, because of the way they are positioned, some of them are startups, and so because of the way they are positioned, because of the way they are set up, most of them want to run. So most of them want to run a hybrid system. When we say hybrid, We mean companies that prefer to have some of their staff work remotely while others work um, on site, right? So the term virtual assistance has evolved significantly over a long period of time. And today it represents a dynamic and highly sought after profession that enables individuals and businesses to scale their operations, to increase their efficiency, and also to access specialized skills remotely. So, for instance, a startup that just got funded, probably maybe by government or by a donor agency, may need people to do a lot of things. And some of those things may not really require such persons physically being on site in an office. Some of these things are things that can be done remotely. So that is why most organizations would rather have someone who work remotely as a virtual assistant than employ that person and be paying them salaries, and then these salaries will not be taxed and all of those things. So one of the main reasons why most organizations, startups prefer to have virtual assistants is because they want to also be financially prudent. They don't want a situation where government is coming to say, hey, how many staff do you have and all of that and all of that, and then they have to pay tax on each of those staff. So these are some of the reasons why um, some organizations prefer to hire virtual assistants. All right. So big question, who is a virtual assistant? So a virtual assistant is an independent contractor who provides either professional, administrative, technical, or creative assistance to clients remotely. So the keyword there being independent, meaning that this person does not actually work for someone or doesn't actually work under someone. So usually, most times, virtual assistants are people who just are given a one-off contract. Maybe it's a contract that's for 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, just a contract. So, so technically, you can decide to say, hey, I'm no longer interested in this job, and you quit. So that's one power the virtual assistant has. Then, um, as we proceed in the class, I'll explain to you some of these key terms like professional, administrative, technical, creative. I'm going to explain them. So one key difference between a virtual assistant and an actual employee, who in this case we call a traditional employee, is that virtual assistants are self-employed, which means that they are their own bosses. Even though they work with someone or work for someone, technically they are their own bosses. They are their own bosses because, I mean, they can choose to say, hey, I quit. I'm no longer interested in this job. So, as a virtual assistant, you control how you want to work. You control when you want to work, right? So, these are some of the key things. And like I said earlier, virtual assistants do not really pay taxes. So then there's no room for this. There are no provisions for things like insurance, pensions, and other employee benefits because technically, whoever is employing you is not employing you as a full staff. Now, it's also very, very important that we understand one key difference. So there's a huge, huge, huge difference between someone who works remotely, otherwise known as a remote employee, and a virtual assistant. A remote employee is someone who is hired by a company, goes through um, the human resource process, uh, get their documentations done, get they even have um, pension, they have insurance, They have probably even have HMO, health insurance. So that is a remote employee. A remote employee is just an employee of a company, but who works remotely, doesn't come to the office. Then there's a hybrid employee. A hybrid employee is someone who probably comes to the office that is on site maybe 2 times in a week, and then for the remaining days of the week, he or she works remotely. But a virtual assistant is someone who is totally different. You are not under the employ of that organization. So you just work to assist whoever you are working for or whichever organization you are working for. Now, in simple plain English, a virtual assistant is an assistant to someone, just like you have a personal assistant, you know, it's an assistant to someone or an organization. But in this case, the person is working remotely. They are not going to a physical office. And because they can work anywhere, it means that they can literally, probably your employer is in America and you're in Nigeria, you can work. Or your employer is in UK and you're in Nigeria, you can work. Or you're even in the UK and then you are offering your services to companies in Nigeria. That is a virtual assistant. Now, there are three things I want us to look at. Uh, Three things you need to take note of as regards virtual assistants, right? But before then, I don't know if there's any question so far. Any question? Okay, no questions, I'll proceed. All right. Now, there are three things we are going to look at as it relates to virtual assistants. So, number one, virtual assistants are independent. So, virtual assistants are independent workers, meaning they operate as freelancers. Now, again, there's this word that most people fail to understand the meaning, which is freelancing. So when you tell someone, I'm a freelancer, the person, because the word free is in that is there's a word free in that word, people tend to think that, oh, this person does not charge money for whatever they are doing. So a freelancer is not someone who provides free service. No, a freelancer is someone who works remotely. It's just another term for a virtual assistant, right? So they can work remotely, but of course they get paid uh, stipends. So a freelancer, a virtual assistant is an independent worker, meaning that they operate as freelancers or contractors or even small business owners rather than traditional employees under direct supervision. And then, what are the key things under this? So, one, uh, virtual assistants are self-managed. They manage themselves. They are responsible for managing their own schedules, their workflows, and their deliverables. What this means is that you can decide that, hey, uh, I am working for so person, right? And as such, I will only be working from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. every day. That's you. Now, the person is not really interested in how you get the work done. The person is interested in the work being done, right? The person just wants to see results. The person is not concerned about how those results are gotten. So if you want, you can choose to use 10 hours to do the work. As far as the work gets done, that's what your client wants. So um, virtual assistants typically work with multiple clients. So what this means is that as a virtual assistant, I can work for multiple clients. I can work for three, four, five people at the same time. It all depends on how I want to arrange my time or what tasks I want to prioritize. I can decide that, hey, what are my deliverables for this week? I'm supposed to write a letter to XYZ company requesting for this on behalf of client A. For client B, I'm required to schedule a meeting between my client B and another client in another part of the world. So you can decide to schedule your your activities as a virtual assistant. So the goal is at the end of the day, you should be able to meet all your deadlines. Then um, the relationship between a client and a virtual assistant is contractual. So rather than being employees, virtual assistants often work under service agreements or contracts. This means that they are not bound by the same obligations as full-time staff, such as reporting to a manager or adhering to company hours or logging in. There are some, like I was trying to explain the difference between a virtual assistant and a remote employee. For remote employees in some organizations, you are required to log in, to clock in at a particular time. So your system, the company gives you an official system and the system is tracked. So every day you are expected to turn on that system, come online, and then do your work. That way they know that that day you have worked. If you don't work that day, if you are not online, they know that this today this person did not work. So it's different in the case when it comes to a virtual assistant. A virtual assistant doesn't need to do all of these things. So virtual assistance there's that freedom, there's that sort of freedom that you have. Then in terms of skill and initiative, independence requires virtual assistants to be proactive, to be self-motivated, and to be skilled in time management. And this is one thing. This you see, this time management, it's one thing that affects or that most virtual assistants fail to adhere to. So you see a virtual assistant that is doing two or three jobs, and one of the client is complaining bitterly, hey, you're not meeting deadlines, you're not meeting deadlines. Or even if it's one client that you have and you don't schedule your activities properly, you would continue to have problems. So one thing you should know or one thing you should learn as a virtual assistant is that you should be able to schedule your time and say, hey, even though I'm not going to a physical office, I'm going to take this job seriously. Because at the end of the day, that is what is going to stand you out. Because there are instances where a client, because we've worked with one or two persons we've linked one or two persons to a client, and then a client calls and says, hey, I love the way this person works. And they are even ready to refer you to some other client because they see that you are putting in a lot of energy into what you are doing. So there are people who do virtual assistants as a full-time job. They have two or three clients they are they are servicing, and it's full-time job for them, right? Then in terms of accessibility, there's a global accessibility. So because as a virtual assistant, your work requires you to work remotely. It means that you can serve clients from anywhere in the world and you can be anywhere and do your job. For instance, you may have a client who is in America. Um, you need to understand timing. So, like I said earlier, timing is very, very important. Your 7 a.m. here in Nigeria is 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 another time, is another entirely different time in another part of the world, right? For instance, America has about 6 time zones. So if you are working for two clients in America, for instance, you may come to discover that they are living in two different states in America and have two different time zones. So you have to learn how to balance your schedule and your time. Then insight number two, um, there are some typical tasks that are usually performed by virtual assistants. In the beginning of the class, I mentioned some of these things, and I'm just going to reiterate them, and I'm going to explain better. Right. So, virtual assistants are versatile professionals who provide a wide array of services tailored to the needs of their clients. So, these tasks they perform can generally be categorized into four main areas. So, I'm going to explain them. So, we have technical tasks, we have administrative tasks, we have creative tasks, and we have marketing tasks. So, first one is technical task. Now, technical tasks are tasks that require some level of knowledge. So, for instance, could be website management. Someone says, "Hey, I hear you are good at managing a website, a WordPress website, for instance. I want you to be managing my website, generating content, uploading them, and stuff like that. Or I want you to be analyzing my data for me. Maybe you are an accountant and um, you are good with data analysis, or you've just learned data analysis, just like we've taught data analysis in the past few weeks, and you've mastered the art of data analysis, and then someone comes and says, "Hey, I want you to be analyzing my data." That puts you under a technical virtual assistant. Then we have administrative tasks, and this is where most people fall under. A lot of us fall under administrative tasks because this is more general. A lot of people, almost everyone who wants to be a virtual assistant can do email management, can schedule, can manage calendars, can prepare documents, can prepare travel plans or travel schedules, and so on and so forth. Right. So, like under administrative tasks, like I said, we have email management. In email management, you can learn, or you can be sorting emails, responding to routine inquiries. Maybe someone wants to make inquiries about the organization. So you serve as the front desk for that organization, or you're flagging urgent messages. So your work, probably in this case now, probably your work is just to ensure that you keep tab of your boss's email. You're always checking his email. So if there's anything that requires urgent attention, then you can call his attention to it. Then maybe your own work is organizing correspondence. So correspondence is like replying to emails and stuff like that. Then calendar management. Um, you are scheduling meetings, maybe using Zoom, um, Google Meet, Teams, and so on and so forth. Then maybe scheduling appointments. There's a difference between scheduling a meeting and scheduling an appointment, right? So um, then uh, maybe organizing events. Maybe there's an event that is coming up. Let's say FCT Lagos Film Festival, and then you get employed as a virtual assistant, and your entire job is to help in organizing that event, right? So your job will probably be to reach out to clients, to uh, to to get feedback, who is coming, who is send out invites, who is going to come, who is not going to come, stuff like that. All right, then maybe under administrative tasks, it can be in terms of preparing documents, like creating a document. Maybe your boss asks you to create a document, or yeah, prepare a document. You prepare the document, or maybe you edit the document, or your job is just to formatting documents. So maybe your boss is someone who gathers information online, just pushes to you and says, "Hey, arrange these documents, make sure everything is fine." You know, then it could also be in terms of creating reports or even making proposals. There are people whose job is to just churn out proposals. So your boss says, or you have clients who just say, "Hey, I want you to help me create a proposal," right? Tells you, okay, um, this is what um I need you to put in the proposal. So you just go, you do your thinking, you do your brain work, and you churn out a very fantastic proposal. There are people whose job it is to just do that, or there are people whose job it is to just create presentation, PowerPoint presentations, right? So you become so professional in creating PowerPoint presentation, and then all you do is just sell yourself as a virtual assistant that creates presentations for people, and then people hire you to design very beautiful PowerPoint presentations for them. Then you can actually do all of this with tools like Google Docs or Microsoft Office. So for this class, most of the tools we are going to be using are going to be Google tools for this class. Most of the tools we're going to be using will be Google tools. Then you probably still under administrative task. You could also be a travel agent. Maybe your job is just to create travel schedule for your boss. Uh, you make arrangements. Okay, your boss calls you or your client calls you and says, "Hey, I want to travel to Cameroon next week. Please, this is the place I'm going to. Please reach out to them and do all the necessary arrangements." So you are making that call, you are calling the hotel, you are calling the people he's going to meet, stuff like that. Then you book the person your client's flight, you schedule their itineraries, you ask him, okay, so when you go to Cameroon, what are you going to do? And then you arrange those itineraries so that when he goes, all you are doing is say, hey, you are sending him reminders and say, okay, by 1 p.m. you have a meeting with so person. That is another kind of job that an administrative virtual assistant will do. Then creative tasks. Creative tasks involve the use of tools like Canva, video editing tools to be able to create designs. There are people whose job it is to just create designs, right? So the clients reach out to them and say, "Hey, I want you to create a fine design for me for XYZ," So they just tell them what to do, and they go ahead and design it. Then marketing tasks. So there are some tasks that are referred to as marketing tasks, like social media management. Someone says, "Hey, I'm a very, very busy person. I want you to manage my Facebook page, or I want you to manage my Twitter handle," right? So your job is to just engage with people, you create content, you engage with followers, or you do email marketing. Email marketing, you go, you source for emails, maybe on LinkedIn, you source for emails of people who have particular interest in so thing, and then you send out emails to such people. Or your job could even simply just be creating Google ads, right? So you create Google ads, you follow up, with those Google ads to see which people are being reached out to. Then it could also be in terms of what we call lead generation. So you generate leads, you follow up on those leads. Leads are like customers for your clients, right? So you look for those people and then you can follow up on them. So that is it about tasks that are usually provide or carried out by virtual assistant. And then there's one that I skipped or I didn't include in this document, which is professional tasks. So there are some tasks that are professional in the sense that not just anyone can do them. And that's different from technical task, right? So for instance, I'm a lawyer, just an instance. For instance, I'm a lawyer. So I have skills as a lawyer, and then there are people who want there are people, there are clients who want um legal advice, or they want someone to prepare legal documents for them. So we can have virtual assistant that can do that. So you are not going to the office, you are not working for that person remotely, but you are providing a particular service to the person virtually, right? Or you could even be an accountant. As a virtual assistant, you can be an accountant preparing financial statements, and stuff like that. Then the third but not the least, is what we refer to as versatility and specialization. So virtual assistants can be either generalists or specialists, just like I said now. So generalist virtual assistants are virtual assistants that offer a broad range of services, and this makes making them ideal for small businesses or enterprises. So what this is trying to say is this kind of virtual assistants provide a wide range of services, So, for instance, you can do data analysis. You can do data analysis. You can do social media marketing. You can. So maybe it's just a mix of the four types of um 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 uh tasks, right? So you probably have a mix of the four kind of tasks that I mentioned in the previous slide. So you bring all of these tasks together and you provide this range of services to different people. That makes you a generalist virtual assistant. Then there's what we call a specialist virtual assistant. So this kind of virtual assistants focus on niche areas such as digital marketing or e-commerce management, or can have advanced technical skills like coding. So, for instance, if I'm a web developer and someone hires me to develop a website for them, I am not working for that person, but I am providing service that requires me to. So that's virtual assistance. You're not working for the person, but you're providing service. Then there's what we call customization and scalability. So virtual assistants tailor their services to client needs, offering flexibility to scale support up or down. So, for instance, a virtual assistant might start with basic administrative tasks, like I mentioned earlier, like scheduling meetings, booking flights, organizing events, and then later they can take up more complex projects, right? As the business grows. So maybe as you start off with administrative tasks, simple administrative tasks, your client says that you are good and decides to say, okay, hey, can you do this? You say yes. So increases the number of tasks he or she gives to you. Then, um, what tools? What are those tools and technologies that that virtual assistants use? So, virtual assistants leverage a variety of tools to perform their tasks efficiently. So, some of these tools include tools like Slack. Slack is for project management. Zoom is for meetings. Then other tools like Canva. Canva is for graphics, right? So at this point, I don't know if anyone has any question before I proceed. Okay, there's no question. Let's look at some of the traits for success. So how do you succeed as a virtual assistant? You don't want to work for someone for 1 month and then after that 1 month they say, hey,
Hello, sir. Please, I have a question.
okay, please shoot.
All right, sir. Is it possible clients will decide or say that this I want you to use this particular tool, or I want you to use this particular app for a particular job? Is it possible client dictate that?
Okay, thank you. All right. So if I got your question, you're saying, is it possible for a client to say, hey, I want you to use this particular tool? Because I mentioned some tools, common tools that a virtual assistant should be able to use. Now, her question is it possible that a client can ask you, can have a preference for a particular tool other than another tool, right? That is very, very possible. So the baseline is, for instance, let me give you an example, right? Maybe a client says, I don't want you to use Canva. Maybe you are a creative virtual assistant and you are very good with Canva. So your client says, hey, I don't want you to use Canva. I want you to use CorelDRAW, right? Now that is very, very possible. Now, how do you navigate that? Now, the trick is understand the basic of that particular task. So, for instance, you know that Canva is used for graphics, for graphics design. right? If you are able to use Canva, it will be easier for you. It will still be easy for you, or it will be easy for you to transition to use CorelDRAW, for instance, because most of the functionalities are similar. So if you've been using Canva for a long time, it's easy for you to transition to use CorelDRAW. So the baseline, or what I'm trying to say is, most of these tools are similar. You don't need so much, you don't need to invest so much to be able to use another tool within that niche. So if it's Excel you're using for your 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 analysis, for instance, and then your client decides that, hey, I don't want you to use Mr. Paul, just give me a minute. Your client says, I don't want you to use Excel. I want you to use um uh Google Sheets, for instance, because that is online. I want to be able to access what you are doing in real time, right? So that becomes easy for you to transition, because Google Sheets and Excel are almost the same thing. It's just the icons and all of that that are different, but it's basically the same concept. Mr. Paul, please shoot. Mr. Paul,
Now coming.
the floor
Yes,
is yours.
boss.
Yes, please.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. It's
Yes, sir.
uh, it's good to be here once again. I traveled for some time and I wasn't available to contribute to the class. Uh, it's good to be back and good to see all of you. Now, I just wanted to contribute. I just wanted to add my little contribution to what Victor has said. Now, for most PA roles, when you're applying, you could see that there are certain skill sets that will be required of you. Just like you have explained, you have different types of VA. If you are applying for an administrative VA, an administrative VA review again, there are certain tools that you need to be conversant with, which I believe he has already mentioned that in the course of the introduction. You need to be conversant with, let's say, for example, managing time zones on calendar, know how to manage calendar and appointments, know how to be able to manage emails. That's if you're applying as an administrative assistant. You know that you need to be conversant with project management tools like Asana, like Trello. You need to also be conversant with certain administrative tools. That's just it. Sometimes for administrative VAs, they may not require graphic designs like Canva, like he's saying, and maybe CorelDRAW. But what we advise, if you are going into VA, the more skill sets you have, the better and the more chances you stand to get to land that job that you are dreaming of. Because sometimes these roles are advertised, and when they're advertised, they write down the specific skill sets that they require of you. That okay, you must be conversant with Trello because it's Trello that we use in our team. You must understand how to use Slack, for example, because it's Slack that we use to manage our tasks and all of this. So having knowledge of many tools is important to you. And it's yes, like I said, it's possible that clients may have their own preference of the type of tools they want you to use. And most times it depends on what they are using in their office. So an office may be using Slack, another office may be using Trello, another office may be using Asana and all of it. That's why most times we combine most of these tools and we teach you, at least you have basic knowledge about all of them. Having knowledge about all of them does not mean that for every VA role you have, you will use all of them. Sometimes just one will be enough for you to try on your job, but sometimes you may require more. So it's a journey that we've always encouraged people. Learning never stops. Once you know more, anytime you get to hear about new tools, always strive to learn about them. The most important thing is that you land your first job and you're able to perform on the job. So thank you very much, Victor. You can continue from there. That's just what I wanted to add. I
All
came
right,
in a bit
thank
late.
you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. All right. can you mute?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you need to succeed as a virtual assistant? All right, so there are certain traits, certain things you need to do to be able to maintain that client satisfaction. So your client should be able to look at you and say, "Hey, thank you. You just made my work a lot easier. You just helped us to win this contract. You just helped us to increase our revenue generation, right? So, what are those things you need? Let's look at them. One, agility. Agility. So, agility refers to a virtual assistant's ability to be able to think on their feet. What this means is that, or what um, most Nigerian employees would usually say or call or term um, ability to work under pressure, right? So that's just what this is trying to say. So your ability to be able to think on your feet, you are you are quick to think, you are responding quickly to emails, you are scheduling meetings and appointments, you are proactive. That's what agility means. So your ability to respond quickly to changing demands. So you are doing A, and then by the time you are still almost finishing, and your client is calling and say, "Hey, can you add this to what you have already done?" So your ability to be able to take in a lot of things at the same time, right? And then your ability to be able to multitask. So, like I said earlier, that is what most Nigerian or most human resource managers would refer to as your ability to be able to work under pressure, right? So, why does this matter? Why does agility matter? So, because most virtual assistants would often juggle different tasks for multiple clients. So each of these clients has a specific need, a particular need, and then they have their deadlines. So a client asks you to write a proposal for them, and the deadline is supposed to be um, on Monday, this coming Monday. Another client has given you a task. The task is to schedule 3 or 4 meetings with 3 or 4 of his or her business associates, right? And these meetings are supposed to be next week, right? So it's for you to be able to prioritize which one comes first, which one is urgent. So you should be able to, as a virtual assistant, if I were you, I should even have a desk somewhere in my house where I say, "Hey, this is my office," and then you have your notebook, so you work as though you were in a real office, right? Then agility also allows virtual assistants to be able to pivot swiftly between tasks, such as switching from scheduling meetings to troubleshooting a website issue. So probably you are working, where you work. It's as a virtual assistant, one of your work is to be scheduling meetings for your client. Then another is to be managing website, the company website, right? So as you are trying to schedule a meeting, you get a message or get a call and say, "Hey, please, our website is down. Can you quickly check what is happening?" That is what agility means. So, the world today, as we know, is fast-paced. So most clients value virtual assistants who can respond very quickly to urgent requests, or be able to shift their priorities from priority A to priority B within the shortest period of time. So how can you employ or apply agility to your task, your work, right? So one is for you to be able to multitask. So an agile virtual assistant might manage a client's email box while simultaneously preparing a social media post and addressing a last minute calendar conflict, right? So these are three things that are happening at the same time. So you are checking for inboxes to see whether messages, maybe you are expecting a particular message for one of your clients, partners, and then you are supposed to send out a social media post at the same time. And then you now realize that there's a conflict in calendar. So your clients your client has asked you to schedule a calendar appointment with someone, and then you have now discovered that his appointment is clashing with another appointment that he had asked you to schedule ahead before then. So your ability to be able to put all of this together and quickly solve that problem puts you at the top of your game. Then problem solving. You can apply problem solving to this, so such that probably you are faced with a technical issue. Um, Maybe the software you are using for scheduling your or even it might even be your laptop, right? Maybe the laptop you are using suddenly out of nowhere, if you have an issue, it stops working, or your battery is down. How do you make sure that you are you are on top of your game, right? So you should be able to have an alternative. That is where problem solving comes. So you are in the middle of doing something and then you encounter a problem. How do you navigate out of that problem? Your client is not interested in hearing excuses, right? No client wants to hear that, oh, my battery was down, we've not had lights for 2 days. Hey, who cares, man? You're going to get paid at the end of the day, right? So just get it done, get the job done. Like I said earlier, the client is not interested in how you get the job done. The client is actually interested in the job being gotten done, right? So how you want to get it done is none of his or her business. Then you should be able to find your way around workflows, right? So you have multiple tasks to do almost at the same time. How do you prioritize? How do you have a all of us or most of us did economics. There's what we call um there's this term we refer to in economics. Order of someone should help me out, please.
Economies of scale
Economics of scale, right? So
or
you
economies
have
of
you have
preference.
so you have that list and say, okay, this comes first, this comes first. I do that most of the time, right? Not even I do that for even my personal stuff, right? I'm doing a particular work. I write down things. I say, okay, this is number one, this is number two. And as I'm doing them, I'm teaching them. It's a checklist for me. Okay, I've done this. Yeah, I'm done. So at the end of the day, you look at that list and you get fulfilled. You feel fulfilled, right? Hey, today I've been able to do this. I've achieved this. And then, or maybe you look at the list and you say, oh, this particular thing is lagging behind. And sometimes it's even so that you don't forget, right? We are human beings. Uh, because we are working remotely, a lot of things, family issues come up, a lot of things come up, a lot of distractions here and there. You need to stay focused. So it's important for you to have a list. You have a book or your tablet or anything or your phone. You can even have your phone and then you write down those lists. At the end of the day, you check, 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 check. Okay, this is what I have done and this is what is pending to be done. Then you can move it to the next day. So first thing you do when you want to start work, pen down the things you want to do. That will guide you so that you know that you are not losing track. Then you can also set a time that, okay, I want to work for 3 hours. And then you set that time. You can even set an alarm. Okay, so for task A, I want to spend 1 hour, and I do that too. I do that most of the time. So I say, okay, for task A, I want to do this for 1 hour. So whether I'm done, I'm not done. Once it's 1 hour, I'm switching to the next task. As a virtual assistant, you should be able to have that skill. Then you should also be able to learn on the fly. Like Mr. Paul said earlier, and so this is more like a follow-up to the question that Grace asked, right? So assuming your client now says, "Hey, I don't want you to use this tool. I want you to use the other tool." Do you want to tell your client that, "Hey, oh, I cannot use this tool. Oh, this is the only tool I can use." I mean, that means you don't want a job, right? So you should be able to learn. You should be able to learn on the go. Don't be that virtual assistant that keeps turning down jobs because you don't know how to use a particular tool. I mean, internet is your friend, Google is your friend. Now we even have AI. There's nothing, in fact, there's no information you need that you cannot get. There's nothing you want to learn that you cannot learn. So never be that virtual assistant that will turn down jobs because you don't know a particular skill. Even if you don't know it, accept the job. You can learn it. You can learn it. So don't ever think that you can't learn anything. You can always learn, add new skills to yourself. Then um the next thing we look at is reliability and trustworthiness, right? So as a virtual assistant, you should be reliable and trustworthy. Your your client should be able to rely on you. This by reliance we mean that your client should be able to say, "Hey, we'll have a meeting by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning," right? Your client should have so much confidence in you that they know that once it's 7 a.m., you are going to be on that call. You are not coming to give excuse, hey, my battery was down. Hey, I could, you know. So if as a virtual assistant, your client, you schedule a meeting with your client, and then the first day, sorry for joining in late. My network was bad. My network was bad. Another time, you are giving another excuse. Probably, and for some of us, most times it's even this network issue. The first day you complain of network, the next day you complain of network, the third day you still complain about network. Ah, your client will now begin to think that this person is not a serious person. So you should look for what works for you. So if you discover, oh, where I stay, it's Glow that works fast. It's Glow network that works best. Come on, you have to go for it. If it's MTN that works fast, you have to go for it. So get a network that is reliable and can work for you. Then in terms of still under reliability, your client should be able to beat their chest and say, hey, if I give this virtual assistant a task to do, I'm very, very sure that first thing tomorrow morning, if it's supposed to be 6 a.m. that this task needs to be submitted to me, your client knows that, hey, 5 a.m., they are going to get that job in their email box, right? So you should be that reliable. There's someone who works for me, right? I guarantee you that guy is not reliable. I can give him a task. It's me who is going to call him the next morning to say, hey, how far that task? That's not how it's supposed to be. Or I asked him to schedule a meeting with so and so person. And then he, sometimes I just I just let him I just observe him. I don't say anything, I just observe him. Close to the time, he will now he will now call me and say, oh, Mr. Victor, I'm so sorry. And that's usually the word, I'm so sorry. You know what? I completely forgot. Sometimes it's even me who calls him and says, Alpha, you've not scheduled the meeting with so person. Say, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. He knows how to say sorry very well. So don't be that kind of virtual assistant, right? So be so reliable that your client can go to sleep knowing that, hey, they are not going to get any pending tasks the next day or when the deadline comes. Then still, so under trustworthiness, you should be able to have some level of confidentiality, right? So, I mean, you are managing someone's social media handle, for instance. You shouldn't abuse that. The person is probably getting inboxes and all of that. You don't abuse that. Or you are managing your client's email, right? You shouldn't abuse that. Maybe you even see their bank statements or their bank alerts that are coming in, and this person get money, oh," and you maybe probably even go and start telling your friends, and there should be some level of confidentiality, right? Then you should also be proactive. It's not everything they need to tell you. It's not everything your client needs to tell you. And that is where your clients knows that this person they know their onions. This person is good. This person knows their job, right? So it's not everything the person needs to remind you. Sometimes you should be the person to be proactive enough to say, Mr. So and so, Mr. So and so, please, you are supposed to have done this, you are supposed to have done that. As a virtual assistant, maybe your job is to be scheduling meetings or appointments. Sometimes technology can fail. Maybe the person doesn't have network and probably misses for whatever reason. Maybe you have scheduled a particular appointment, the person misses that appointment. The time for that appointment has come, and the person, maybe it's a meeting, and you can even call the person to say, or message the person to say, hey, your meeting is supposed to be so time. Oh. So even if their their gadget or their um Google Calendar does not give them a reminder, you should also be able to follow up. So that's what we refer to as being proactive. Then time management and organization. I've hammered on time management before. Now, so effective time management and organizational skills enable virtual assistants to handle multiple clients, prioritize tasks, and maintain efficiency in a remote work setting. So why does time management matter? So because oftentimes virtual assistants work independently, and they manage a lot of complex schedules and diverse tasks without any oversight from their clients. So your client is not breathing down your neck and saying, "Hey, have you done this? Have you done that? Have you done that?" You are your own manager. So poor time management can lead to missed deadlines or subpar work. What this means is that you, because you don't manage your time well, you may miss a particular deadline. Something you are supposed to submit this by 6 p.m. today. Because you forgot, because you didn't manage your time well, you couldn't meet the deadline, and you're now submitting it by 7 p.m. That's not good on your record. Or because you didn't manage your time well, you're supposed to write a particular proposal, and you're so much in a hurry, and you just do rubbish, and you send. That's not good. So it is important that you have strong organizational skills. You should be able to manage your time. You should be able to manage your workflows so that your client is satisfied. So this traits, this time management trait is very critical. It's very critical. So if you have these other ones, you are agile, you are good with what you do, but time management is zero. I mean, imagine that you do a very fantastic proposal, or you submit it at after the deadline. It's useless, right? So these are important things we need to learn. Then how can we apply this? We need to prioritize tasks, put tasks that are of priority first in that order. Then you can automate some of your workflows. You can automate some of your workflows to ensure that you so for instance, maybe it's social media posts. You can create those social media posts way ahead of time, and arrange them, and then once that time comes for you to post, you just go copy and paste. You have already done the work. You're just turning them out. Then, in fact, as part of the hands-on for this class, I'm also going to teach you how you can even schedule emails way ahead of time. So you can create an email and then schedule it. It will send whether you do anything or not. It should just send automatically. So that way, this way you're able to manage your time. So the person is even wondering, this person is so efficient, but he doesn't know that you have already arranged all these things. It's just automated. The work has already been done for you. Then you also um, need to learn deadline management. You can break down large projects into little manageable steps. You set internal deadlines for yourself to ensure you are able to deliver in a timely manner. Then you should also be conversant with time zones. You should be conversant with time zones. Most of our gadgets, our phones, our iPads, they have clock, right? You can set different time zones. I used to work for someone who was staying in Texas, right? I think it's about 12 hours from Nigeria. The time difference is about 12 hours. So by the time it's morning here in Nigeria, that's when they are going to sleep, right? So I had to juggle between managing this my time with his own time so that I'm able to meet deadlines. Sometimes we're having meetings at night, right? During those periods, I was now working at night and sleeping in the day. So as a virtual assistant, you should be able to manage your time. Then you should also have good communication skill. I mean, you you are good with you're good with time management. You know what you are doing. You write fantastic proposals, but your English maybe probably. I mean, technology has advanced now. We have AI. So for some of us, you probably just go to um an AI tool and you generate your proposal or whatever document it is. Now it's time for you to now write an email. In the body of the email, you are writing nonsense. Good communication skill is very, very important. You should be able to take your time, understand what you are doing. If there are skills you don't know, you can learn them, right? Now, by good communication skill, we're not hammering on, we're not saying maybe you cannot speak good English. I mean, you probably can speak good English, but you cannot communicate in in a professional manner. There are certain ways you should start an email. There are certain ways you should end an email, right? So you should be able to learn some of these things, these key things, as you navigate through your virtual assistance job. So how can you apply, or why does a good communicate why does good communication skill matter? Because as remote workers, virtual assistants um, rely heavily on written and verbal communication to collaborate with clients, so often without face-to-face interaction. So clear communication prevents misunderstandings, aligns expectations, and fosters trust. It is critical for managing client feedback and resolving issues diplomatically. So, for instance, if there's anything you don't understand, maybe a client asks you to do A and you do not understand, it is not wrong to ask questions. It is not out of place to ask questions. So there's one thing that Nigerians say, that he who asks questions never misses his way. So if you ask questions, you get clarification. So when you get clarification, you get to do the right thing. So how do you apply good communication? First, you apply it in clarity and conciseness. Virtual assistants should be able to write professional, concise emails or reports, ensuring instructions and updates are easy to understand. Then you should have the ability to listen actively, right? So a client is talking to you, giving you instructions on what to do. Please send an email to Mr. A, then call Mr. B tomorrow morning by so time. So if you don't pay attention, maybe you are distracted. There are some things, some distractions here and there, you may miss some important things that have been asked of you to deliver. So you should also be able to um, understand what your client is saying. Then cross-cultural communication. Now, because you are working with global clients, you have to adapt their communication style to accommodate their cultural nuances or language differences. So, for instance, there's British English, there's American English. So, for instance, you are working for an American and you are working for a Briton, right? So there are certain words there are certain words that are different, right? Like labor. Labor in American English is labor. Labor in British English is labor, right? So these are little things that you need to take note of. So understand who your client is, where they come from, right? Understand that before you begin to communicate. Then regular updates. So you should be able to provide regular updates, right? You can do that via tools like Slack or via email to keep your clients informed. So, for instance, there's a proposal they're supposed to write. The deadline is supposed to be in 2 weeks' time, right? You've so there's 1 week to the deadline, and you've done, let's say, 70%. It's okay for you to reach out to your client and say, okay, this is this is what I have done. This is what I have done, right? So you share your update with them. Right? Sometimes it's even important that you share what you have done so that they can take a look at it and say, oh, no, add this, oh, remove this, so that you don't get close to the deadline and then you share that document with them and then they say, no, 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 you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done this, and then you probably have to start the work all over again. So it's important to have your client informed. Then again, be in the middle, don't be on the fence, don't overwhelm them. By overwhelming them, don't 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 be in their face. You are communicating them all the time. I've added this to the document. I've done this. Some clients don't like that. Just give updates once in a while so the person knows that, hey, you are doing the work, right? Then adaptability. Adaptability allows virtual assistants to be able to thrive in dynamic environments, embracing new tools, tasks, or client expectations with ease. So why does this matter? It matters because the industry is constantly evolving with new technologies, new platforms, and client needs are varying, and then adaptable virtual assistants can quickly adjust to these changes, ensuring they remain valuable to clients. This trait is especially important in handling unexpected challenges such as shifting project scopes or learning new software. So, just like I said earlier, Grace asked a question: how do you how do you manage a client who wants you to use a particular tool to do their task, right? So you should be adaptable. You should be able to adapt quickly. You should be able to learn a new software quickly, right? Then how do you apply this? You should be tech savvy. So one key thing you need to know is that as a virtual assistant, you must be tech savvy. By tech savvy, we mean you should be IT literate. You should be able to use a computer system. You should be able to use your phone. You should be able to use the latest technologies. Not technology. I don't mean phones or laptops. What I mean is tools, right? You should be able to use those tools that would enable you to do your work. So if a new tool comes up, you should be able to use it. Then flexibility with task. uh, you should be able to seamlessly shift between roles, such as moving from admin to creative content creation, right? So maybe you are doing admin task, and then your boss says or your client says, "I want you to be managing our social media," right? So you were in admin, now you are managing social media. So you should be flexible. Then you should also be able to handle uncertainty. So when a client priorities shift, for instance, a sudden need for a new marketing strategy, you should be able to be adaptable. You should be able to quickly, you know, switch immediately. Right. All right. So that is that about the traits or the skills that you would need to be able to thrive as a good virtual assistant. I don't know if there are any questions at this point. Any question at this point?
I have a question, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Please, is it possible that still on these tools of 18, I think I have two questions. Is it possible that if I get, for me not to lose the job, I could take the job, then involve a learner colleague maybe that knows about that tool instead of me telling a client that, oh, I don't know how to use this tool. That's one. Then is it possible to get two clients and be working for the two clients at the same time? Let's say one says you resume 9 and close 4 p.m. Another one says you resume 9 and close 5 p.m. Is it possible one will be able to juggle two clients together with that, with almost the same time frame or the same time hours of working? I'm sorry, I'm on transit. I'm actually in serious traffic going home. So
Oh,
those
okay,
are my
that's fine.
questions. Thank you.
Okay. All right, you can mute. Can you mute? All right, thank you. All right. So good question, right? So to your first question, this is this is 21st century. You don't work hard, you work smart. My answer to your question would be if you have someone who can do that task and you know the person can do it well. I mean, why not? You can give them the task. You sublet the task, right? As far as the job gets done. Like I said earlier, your client is not interested in how the job gets done. Your client is interested in the job being done, right? So get the job done anyhow by whatever means. Get the job done most of the time, except for instance where in cases where um uh in cases where sorry in cases where probably your job requires some level of confidentiality. Remember, I mentioned confidentiality earlier, right? Now, in cases where your job requires confidentiality, by all means, please do not share that information with another person. Do the job. Do the job yourself. Okay? Now, to your second question. Your second question was, sorry, Grace, I missed, I forgot your second question. If you can quickly ask for someone who,
She was asking if she can do
Say, can I juggle two clients together that are
okay,
actually
yeah,
demanding
okay,
for almost the
okay,
same working hours time frame? Let's say one says 9 to 4, and says
okay,
9 to 5. Is it
okay,
possible I juggle two clients together that way?
okay. So, this would be my response to that question, right? What do you think? What works for you? I talked about time management earlier. So you sit down and think about it. Can you can you combine the two jobs together? So you sit down and think about it critically. Can I juggle these two jobs? Will one not suffer more than the other? Will me combining these two jobs allow me to efficiently efficiently cater for the two clients? Will I be able to solve their problems? Will I be professional enough? Will I be able to give them what they want without any of them failing? Right? So you sit down and think about it. Whatever works for you is what you should do, what you should go for. So I cannot tell you, hey, don't do two jobs at the same time. I cannot tell you do two jobs at the same time. So it's at your own discretion what works for you. So make sure that if you are combining the two, one should not affect the other. Mr. Paul, I think
yes,
you want to say something.
yes. I want to react to that. So this is how it works. VA jobs are just like your regular job sometimes. Now, there are some clients that don't require you to work from 9 to 5, like your regular 9 to 5 jobs here. There's some jobs that are freelance, they give you tasks when there are tasks for you to do. There are some jobs that are remote, completely, full-time remote jobs. And there are some jobs that are freelance jobs. Freelance jobs means they will give you a task when they want you to do the task you deliver on the deadline. So in that case, they are not controlling your time. You have your time to be able to manage. As long as you are able to meet up deadlines, you can maintain. I know people that maintain 2 to 3 clients as VAs, but they serve them all. Most especially if the working time does not collide. I mean, when you are not having conflict of interest, the other client is demanding for your attention at this time, and another one is demanding your attention at the same time, then you become very, very unprofessional because you're not able to meet up deadlines. So if you must juggle between jobs, always consider the time zones and always consider the work terms of reference, what they are demanding from you, you know. And another smart technique there, just like you earlier mentioned, it's that of outsourcing. So if you are someone that stumble upon opportunities and you know that you're busy, your hands are tied, you have colleagues, and that's why it's good to network. You can always have colleagues of similar interests, those that are in the same industry with you. So you can take up these jobs and outsource to some other people. You still earn from there. You pay the people to do the job, and you also earn from there. So in that way, you are not spending or blowing up all your time for the tasks other people are assisting you to do that. But you must be cautious for tasks that are not very, very confidential, just like Mr. Victor rightly said. Maybe tasks that you did not sign, non-disclosure agreements, NDL, and all of this. You can be able to get that. You can be able to juggle them and then outsource to other people. So that's just what I wanted to add, Mr. Victor. You can go ahead, sir.
All right, thank you very much. All right. So, is there any other question or before I proceed? Okay. If no other question, I'll proceed. All right.
I think there's a chat, or have you
So,
responded to the person on the chat box?
yeah, I have responded.
Okay.
All right. So, next thing we want to look at is what are some of those administrative skills a virtual assistant should have, right? So you remember I talked about administrative skills. So some of these administrative skills are what we're going to look at. So this is where we now get um into the uh practical hands-on
Hello, sir.
aspect of this. Okay,
Yeah, I'm so sorry to
go ahead.
disturb. Um,
Okay.
Actually, I just read the question on the group. I don't know if you can actually answer the question generally so that we can benefit from it.
Okay.
The question
All
was
right.
dropped in the
Yes.
chat. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So the question was, how do we source for clients? Because that is going to be my own major problem. But I know it's not going to be as long as there is the right guidance too. Okay, what this person is trying to say is, hey, after this class, how do we get clients? That is a big question, everybody. I know it's that's on everybody's mind. But we've said this several times. Um, Mr. Paul has said this several times. We have clients who need virtual assistants. So at the end of this class, we'll be able to link um, as many of you as possible. And as these jobs keep coming, we're going to link you. And before the end of this class, we would also be able to show you where to go and get these jobs, right? So my advice to you, stay with us till the end of the virtual assistance class, which is going to be next week, right? So we'll get to that. That's the simple that's the simple truth. We'll get to that. We cannot do everything one day. We have to start from somewhere, right? So you have to understand some of these basic things before we get to that point. I don't know if that answers your question, T.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Okay, so for this class, I did say that most of the tools we are going to be using, especially for email management, we are going to be using Google, Gmail. So for email management, we're going to be using Google. So the first administrative tool we're going to, or yeah, the first administrative task we're going to do is email management, right? So under email management, I'm going to teach you three things which some of you may have known or may not have known. But I'm going to teach you and I'm going to tell you why it's important. So I'm going to teach you about signatures. I'm going to teach you about templates. Then I'm going to teach you about labels. So these three things are the things we are going to quickly look at today before we wrap up the class for today. Then when we come tomorrow, we'll look at calendar management. We'll look at some project management tools if time allows. Okay. All right. So let's look at the first one, signatures. As a professional virtual assistant, you should be able to know how to um, write or sign off your emails professionally. You should have what we call a signature. Some of you don't even know what a signature is, a digital signature, email signature. Some of you do not even know what it means or why it's important. So it's one of the things I'm going to teach you today. Then templates. There are some emails you would be sending frequently, right? And if these emails are repetitive, you probably just need to create a template, and then anytime you want to send, just select that template and boom, you've sent it out. You don't need to start thinking and typing long grammar and all of that. You just have it. Then labels. Labels help you to sort your emails in an orderly manner so that you are able to track emails that are coming in, right? So that is, so I'm going to unshare my screen and I'm going to share my email. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right, thank you. All right, so I I I I, I want to believe. Okay, so I want to believe we all have a Gmail account. If you don't have a Gmail account, you can actually do this on most emails. If it's Yahoo, you're using Yahoo Mail, you can actually do what I'm doing on Yahoo Mail. It's just that the navigation to get to that setting might be different from one application to another, or from one email client to another. So probably even using Outlook, Microsoft Outlook, it could have a different settings, but it's basically the same thing it's doing. So it's a general standard across board. So why do you need my first question is, why do you even need um why do you even need to sign off your emails, right? So um this is just to show that you are being professional, one. Then secondly, it shows that the email emanated from you, because your signature would contain your name, your phone number, your email address. So it's a way of just automatically signing off on every email that you send. Okay. Now, how do you create how do you create a signature? Like, how do you create a signature? So to create a signature, I've already logged into my account. I don't need to teach you how to log into your Google account, right? Everybody knows how to do that, right? So first thing you know is you can click on compose, then you come to signature, insert signature. This icon here is insert signature. So you click on insert signature and you click on manage signatures. If you notice, you can see there's no signature here. I've not set up any signature on this account. So I'm going to set it up now. So I click manage signatures, then I minimize this. So it opens the settings for me to create my signature, right? So I scroll down, scroll down, scroll down to um, okay. So another thing which you can learn to do later is you can also be able to change your picture. You can see my picture. This is where I came to change my picture. To do that, this is the settings. See where my cursor is. This is the settings. This is what brought me to this page. So I just use the shortcut from the compose, but this is the setting for it. If you click this, it brings you to this place. So you can change your picture as well if you want. Then I can create a new signature by clicking on create new signature. Then it asks me what signature name do I want to use. So I can see what's the name of the signature. It can be anything actually. I can say professional. I can say VA signature. Then I click create. Now this is where I now type what the signature should have, right? So I can type, then I type my role. And I enter my phone number. Now, because you serve, your clients may be located in another part of the world, it doesn't make sense for you to type your phone number like this. This will not make sense because if your client wants to contact you, they will never be able to reach you unless they know the country code. So that is why we are putting +234. Okay. Now for ease of readability, you can just do this. Okay. For ease of readability, you can just do this, right? Then you can add um your LinkedIn account if you want, right? So I type LinkedIn, I select LinkedIn, then I create a link, right? I click this, it's going to bring up this, so I can go and get my LinkedIn address. Okay, so this is my LinkedIn address. If I do this, if I have a website, I can just enter my website, right? And so on and so forth. If I have a website, but if I don't have, there's no need to put in this. So you can put even your Facebook account and so on and so forth. So once you are done, you can even format it. You can decide to say, hey, let me bold this guy, let me increase the font size, right? Then I can decide to bold this guy, decide to italicize this guy, bold it, right? I can even decide that hey, I want to add a the image, the logo of this organization or whatever to this. So once I am done, I just scroll down uh, and click save. So that is saved. So I click compose. Okay, now I want to insert my okay. Let me refresh. Okay, so can you see my VA signature? So if I click my VA signature, notice what happens here. Can you see it has automatically added my signature? So I can type my email, who am I sending this to, right? Can someone give me their email so that I can send this to them? I need someone to give me their email.
dr
Sorry, come again.
dr
dr
dot
huh?
lexy dot
dr
lexy
okay
01 at gmail.com.
okay okay okay. This is you. So I'll quickly explain something. I didn't plan to explain, but I'll quickly explain it. I don't know if anybody here knows the difference between CC and BCC. I mean, this is very important for you as a virtual assistant to know. This CC and BCC. Anyone? Does anyone know the difference between the two? Nobody knows the difference between the two. Interesting. So you guys have been using
The
this for a long
BC means
time.
blind copy.
Sorry?
The BC means blind copy, which means that if you're copying any other person on that email, they won't know that you've copied someone else.
Oh,
While the CC means just copy. If you're copying 2 or 3 persons, they'll know that the other person has been copied as well.
okay, great. So let me just break it down in simple English. If I was to send an email to Dr. Lexi, whose email I have, okay, not Dr. Lexi now. Okay, I'm sending an email to Dr. Lexi, correct? Then I want to send the same email to Daniel, right? So under CC, I can come and do CC, and I type Daniel's email. Daniel, what's your email?
DannyRalph@yahoo.com. DANNYRAPH.
Sorry, like this?
DANNY. Delta Alpha November November Yankee Romeo Alpha Papa Hotel.
Like this?
DANNY.
And okay, why?
RA. There's no L. RAPH.
Okay, Daniel Ralph. Like this?
RAPH. There's still L there. What I'm saying.
Like this?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Okay. Now I'm sending an email to Dr. Lexi and I'm copying Daniel Ralph. So when this email arrives, Dr. Lexi's email, he will see that I copied Daniel Ralph. Now, if I do a BCC, um, T, give me your email address. T, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Call your email for me.
Okay. Taiwo Oluwatobiloba
Ah, it's your own
2904.
logo. Taiwo, Taiwo,
Oluwatobiloba. 2904. Yes.
2904
Yes. At gmail.com.
okay. All right. So if I send this email like this, right? And I send this email like this, Taiwo, um, Raf and Dr. Lexi will not know that I sent the same email to Taiwo. Do you understand? So that's the difference between CC and BCC. Anyways, that's by the way. So I have my email and the subject is request to join VA class. Then all right. So I'm gonna shoot this email now. Okay. So before then, I also said I was going to teach you, I was going to show you how to schedule an email to send later. I don't know, some of you probably have done this or you don't know about it, but it's good you can learn this now. It's very, very important to know this as a virtual assistant. So if I don't want to send this email right away, I want to send it like, let's say by 8 p.m. I can just come here, click this arrow and I click on schedule send, right? If I say schedule send, these are the different times. You can say, okay, I want to send it tomorrow morning by 8 a.m. or tomorrow afternoon by 1 p.m. or on Monday morning by 8 a.m. Or I can even pick a customized time and date I want to send it. If I want to still send it today, the time is currently 8:43. I want to send it by, or so, sorry, the time is currently 7:43. It's just giving me an hour's time. So okay, I want to send it in 1 hour time. I select the time, I click schedule send. It will go and keep it somewhere. Once it's that time exactly, you don't need to do anything. You probably even might be sleeping. It will send that email automatically. Okay. But I want to send this right away. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to shoot this out. Right. So you guys should get my email any minute. Okay. So that's that about signatures. Okay. So I don't know if there's any questions so far. Any questions so far? Okay, if there's no question, I'll quickly teach you how to use templates, email templates. So there are instances or there are times when you send an email frequently. Frequently, you can create a template for that email. To do that, simply go to settings. So you need to turn that option on. So you go to settings and click see all settings. Then you go to advanced, you click on advanced, then you click on, you can see templates, you click enable. Once you click enable, you click save changes. It's going to automatically reload your email. Okay, so you come to compose. Come to compose. So you can type your message. So you don't need to put the recipient. It's when you want to now send, you can now put the recipient. You can put it subject if you want. Subject can be anything. Um, uh, class, for instance, you can say class class invite. So to save this as a template, because you are going to constantly be using it, you just come to template and you say save draft as template. Then you can say save as new template and you can give it a name. See, it automatically gives me a suggestion because of the subject I use. And you say save. So once you are done, you can close it. Now, for any time send um you want to send an email, you can simply just click on more. This is more options. Come to template, click on class invite. It automatically attaches your template. That is how to use a template. Then finally for today, I'm going to quickly show you how to use labels. Labels help you to arrange your email, make your email look sparkling clean. Arrange your email um according to the kind of emails you receive. So for instance, you say I have Alibaba emails here. I want to arrange them. So we're going to get to that point where I'll show you how to arrange them. Right. So this is where you create labels. Labels. So you click on create new label. You can give your label a name. You can give your label a name. Let's say mm, so notice something, it automatically adds it to this place, right? Under labels. I can decide to even change the color of my label by coming to label color. Let's say, let me use a very light color. I can decide to use this color for my label. You can see this, it's labeled like this. So how do I now arrange my emails in these labels? So what I do is I come to search and I say Alibaba. Hit enter. Then you can see these are all the Alibaba messages, right? So I can click on advanced search. Then you can play around with these settings. I can just click create filter. Now, then I now say skip the inbox. If I don't want to see it in the inbox, I want it to just go to that label, right? I say skip invoice. Then this is where I now assign it to a particular label. Right? So I click apply, I check this and then I come to advertisement. Then I say categorize as primary. Okay. So then I also say should be marked as always marked as important if I want it to be marked as important. So I now click create filter. Right. So you notice my if I click on sorry. Sorry, I forgot something. Forgot to do something. Um, create filter. Um, skip inbox. Apply label. I mark as important. Categorize as primary. Apply to matching compositions. I create the filter. Okay. So anywhere it says Alibaba, if you notice all my Alibaba, you can see the category now. It's Alibaba, 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 Alibaba. You can see it's marked as advertisement, advertisement, advertisement. Okay, so I don't know if there are any questions.
There's a hand up.
I have a question, please.
Okay,
I
okay,
wanted to clarify, is there a difference between setting rules, labels, and creating a folder? Because I know for Outlook, we set rules. Is it the same thing as this label?
okay. All right. So, like I said earlier, each application may have a different name for a particular thing, but it's technically doing the same thing, right? Now, for labels and folders, these are two different things. A label is for you to organize incoming messages of the same thing in one particular with a particular label. It's just like labeling something, putting a label on something, right? So any message that comes, it's labeled like this. This is where it should go, right? Based on certain settings, certain keywords or certain parameters that you have set. So it automatically arranges them in that particular label. Do you understand?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
All right. Any other question? Okay. All right. Um, if there is no other question, I think this is a good place to end the class today. So tomorrow, like I said, when we come, we would handle or would look at calendar management, and if time permits, we would touch on some project management tools. Right. All right. Peter, yeah.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I'm so sorry for coming late. In fact, I almost shouldn't have been here today because of an engagement, but I just came so that you will know that I'm not actually just absent. It's actually on purpose. It's not possible for me to be here. That's why.
Okay,
But
that's
yes,
fine.
sir. Yeah, but I will get the recordings, so I'll watch them tomorrow morning.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
okay, that's fine. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other thing? Okay. Mr. Paul, do you have anything to say before we end the class?
Not really. I think what I wanted to say, you've covered most of the things I wanted to add, except there are questions. Just the person that asked about folders and email labels, you've already answered that. It was HMN to answer, but you've done justice to it. So I don't think there's anything I want to add again at this point. Thank you for a job well done. Thank you very much. And to all the participants, like I said, I've not been around, unavoidably absent because of some other commitments. But by God's grace, I will be here from now till the end of the session. Uh, so I will attend the classes for each session we're having. I'll be here by God's grace if nothing comes my way. So thank you, Victor, for holding forth. And thank you to all the participants for staying put. We started the class quite a number of people. When I came in, I saw just like 6 or 7 people, and I was like, what's going on? What's happening? Is it that people are busy? That's most times people start classes and they don't complete it. But for those of you that have stayed to this moment, I want to appreciate you. I want to also encourage you to stay till the last day, because trust me, there's still more to come. Like someone asks, to how do you get to find a client? The essence of this whole training is for you to get the client and for you to get the job. So if you don't stay to the end, maybe you will just learn and leave like every other course you've taken. So I will encourage you, and I will encourage all of us to stay till the last day, so that we will get the best out of the class. Thank you very much once again. Do have a great evening.
All right, thank you, guys. Just to say, you guys, only 4 people have done my assignment. Or four, I think yeah, 4 people have done my assignment. Yeah, I won't say much, but you'll see it on your final result too. So if you like, do it. If you like, don't do it. Yeah. See, what do you want to say?
Sir,
Don't give
which
me excuses.
assignment, sir?
Ah, yeah, SQL assignments.
I've
SQL.
done it. I've
Okay,
done
oh.
it. I've gotten my feedback
Okay,
already.
okay, you're safe. Okay, if you have not done it, for those of you who have not done it, I will open it tomorrow till the end of the weekend for you to do it. If you have not done it, I'll open it again to give you guys a last chance to do it. Thank you very much. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll see you tomorrow by 6 p.m. God willing. Thank you all. Sleep tight.
Good night.
Thank you, sir.